Live from New York. It's a show that is not watching March Madness, not into it. What I'm into is studio television.
There you go.
That's what I'm into.
Well, you're watching after the show, getting caught up, seeing how your Duke team might be frauds.
I'm locked into the show. I start prepping for Monday's show.
Honestly, I think yesterday's game soured him on the whole team.
I do.
That's not
He
true.
knows they're going down.
I do too.
It's a little bit of a
No.
slight for you, to be honest with you.
Oh my.
What?
You put Shire on the Bud list. His team's like, you know what? We thought it was going to be easy. Thought they were going to lay it out.
But he put him on the Bud list when they were down 13, and then they came back to win.
Yeah, not a slight.
Okay.
You got it.
Big ups
You
to Bud
used to be good at like taking an L when it happened, and now
What L is there to take?
And now you just say like, actually, Brou, you're the Duke.
How about what L is there to take? We won.
Okay, there we go.
Did we not win the game?
Now we're back.
Enjoy it.
Now we're back.
Enjoy it.
Yeah. Now we're
What I have done is trick everybody to think that I'm the only one rooting for Duke.
Yeah.
Today, Luka goes for 60. How far can the Lakers go? Meanwhile, Duke survives. I've been on them for months.
See?
This was slightly surprising. The one stat that will make you think Duke is in trouble, historically.
Yeah.
And finally, a special Wemby-centric edition of Title Pie. No news on if we got some pies. We did get some pizza pies.
Thanks to Danny Parker.
Thank
Heard
you,
they were
Danny.
late, bro. Did you hear that?
They were late. They were late. I had to come down several times. But they finally arrived.
They did arrive, and they were delicious.
Was this a delivery issue, a pizza place issue, or a Parkins
I don't
issue?
think Danny. You know how on the apps you pay like the extra $1.99, so you're the first. I think Danny's like, I paid him.
No. Actually,
Not doing it.
give me $5 off.
All right, $5 off. I'll be last, and I'll meet you at the corner. I think that's what happened.
It's your turn next.
Tough one. I'm going to. I don't know.
Wings. Danny did the pizza. I took everybody out for dinner.
Oh, that's right.
Had a
Seafood plateau.
Ritzy
How about when did
steakhouse.
you take people out to dinner?
What do you
Nick,
mean?
you
were there.
Danny,
Remember you
my
left
brother
early?
came?
Yeah,
You lost a bet.
that's true.
That wasn't out of the kindness of your own heart.
Did I take you out to dinner?
I mean, kind of, but
No, it wasn't.
I think you were obligated
Did you
to.
pay anything?
No,
Did
I mean,
you enjoy a big steak?
It was a
Believe-
bet.
I saw it.
But you also did leave. You didn't even stay the whole time.
Right.
You left before the check.
It was like 3.5
Talk
hours.
about rude.
It was
Yeah,
three and a
talk
half
about
hours.
rude.
And this is what he said. He couldn't even make up
ready
an
to go.
excuse. He's just like, hey guys, is it okay if I go?
I'm wrapped up. No, I'm good. We start in Miami. Another spectacular performance from Luka. This time he goes for 60.
60.
A lot of people saying this guy's going nuclear.
No.
Again. 100 points in the last 2 days, 20 in the fourth. Lakers have won 8 in a row. Here's JJ.
It was a superhero performance. He made big shots. He made tough shots. Made a lot of right reads. It's when he gets it going like that. It's some of it is you just kind of like let him go. And his teammates felt that. They saw that. He had the crazy step back three in front of their bench. I mean, you just go down the list. The shot making was unreal tonight.
What's this version of Luka mean for the Lakers? Going nuclear.
I got bad news for Ian. Spot bonus from yesterday rescinded.
Oh, actually,
if he's the one who put going nuclear
People are saying it. People are saying it.
On our bar. This version of Luka means no one wants to play him. There are a handful of truisms across all 80 years of NBA history. And one of them is, one guy, if he's great enough, can beat a team. And dating, you can go back as far as you want. And Luka,
in the conference.
yeah, in the conference, and usually it ends around the NBA Finals, but can execute whether it's 7 versus 2, which is not a massive upset at any round in any moment of the playoffs, and Luka does have that pedigree of a guy who, I don't know, Brou, if he was a year into his career when you called him Luka legend, and when we talked about I think I said it would be a massive disappointment if he was not one of the 10 best offensive players of all time. Like that, you saw that coming. He has the some of the pelts on the wall in the playoffs, not the ultimate pelt, but multiple.
He's been great.
Right, he's been great in the playoffs, and you add to it that he and this team are clutch and connected. And the thing you pointed out, KW, the vibes are through the roof.
Oh, vibes are crazy.
And nobody wants to be in a close game with them. And what they have, the company they keep amongst best record in close games, those teams, now all of those teams had better overall records than this Lakers team.
Right.
But all those teams ended up in the finals.
Decided by single digits.
Yeah, their record in close games. It's pretty remarkable. Now, again, I'm trying to be just fair to the graphic. Those teams had much better records overall, which means they never got blown out. And this Lakers team sometimes does get blown out and doesn't.
Like what was like the Thunder? Last year's Thunder aren't on there because maybe there wasn't a lot.
No. I think last year's Thunder were around 500 in single-digit games, but they never got blown out. So you know what I mean. In games decided by double digits, they were 50 and 2
when the Lakers lose, they lose.
And they don't blow people out that much. It's also that. It's both things, right? And so, and Luka, Brou, here is Luka this month, which seems almost incomprehensible is the wrong word, but he is on fire. And it reminds you, or at least reminded me, of the month of March Luka had 2 years ago when he led the Mavs to the finals. You put them side by side. He has done this before, and that ended with multiple road series upset wins en route to the finals. And so I think this version of Luka means the Lakers are actual contenders, not the favorites and not, the team that I'm picking, but they're real contenders.
Yeah, look, there's several things. This version of Luka, we already knew, I felt already he's an all-time great. But when you see this and the run he's been on, which as far as points per game over a stretch like this, 8-9 games, it's only matched with the Lakers by what Kobe did, or it goes back to Kobe. Then you have to go back probably to Wilt or something like that. But as an all-time great with a Laker uniform on, you know what you have to do?
Win a title.
Win a championship. All of them have done it except Elgin Baylor.
Yep.
And I said it about LeBron when he went there. You got to get a ring. And so Luka has got to get a ring. That's number one. Number two, he is, even though I have some questions about his playing style, there's some things I don't like just because he's so ball dominant. He and Jokic can battle it out for who's the best offensive player in the world. Now, maybe it's Jokic. You say Jokic, he's so much more efficient, Jokic. But those two, like Luka, just as a one-on-one player, I'm not saying he would win a one-on-one tournament with all the players.
Hey, he might.
He might, but his defense might be an issue.
To get stopped.
Right. He'd have to make it. But offensively, he is phenomenal.
He can do everything.
And he played, people have compared him for years to James Harden because of the heliocentric play. He's better than Harden.
Yes.
Both, and I don't mean just the playoff because he's been better in the playoffs, hasn't had the meltdowns that Harden has. I just think he's at a higher level than Harden.
And he's not as
and
reliant
Harden's
on
an
the
all-time
whistle.
great too.
Harden was more reliant on the whistle.
Yeah, he got a lot of whistles and going to the line. But Luka, some of the shots he makes, those threes, I'm sure we'll see something like this.
Right here.
How do you make that? That's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so that's the other thing. And then what I was going to mention, you kind of touched on it. When the last time he led the league in scoring, which he's doing now and he's going to do this year, was the 2024 season when they beat Oklahoma City and got to the finals. The thing I've talked about the Lakers now, if they play San Antonio in the second round, and I will say they'll have a tough first round. If they meet Denver or Minnesota, it won't be easy for the Lakers. But if they meet the Spurs in the second round, that is going to be like just a great test case for experience and what it means, because one team has like no experience, the other one has a ton of it. It'll just be great. And then if they get past the Spurs and play OKC, the one thing they're not worried about it. Like, they're not scared of OKC. LeBron, we talked last year. I thought, if the Lakers get them, they'll beat them, because of the experience and all that. And LeBron, I'm sure, believes he can beat OKC. Luka has beaten them in the playoffs. And so this team with Luka playing like this, with LeBron, I still think as great as Luka is right now, LeBron is the key. As long as he continues to play, as you said, the Swiss Army knife role, he has to stay in that role. Now, some nights it'll be 30, like the other night. But he has to stay in that role. And if he does, then they got a solid shot.
Wendy said this morning. I was like, gosh darn it, Wendy, that was my take too, off of the vibes. Earlier in this year, shout out to Wendy. Earlier this year, vibes on the Lakers, terrible. J.J. Redick was saying our losses are louder, and he was a little short with the media.
Oh, remember, he was going to make him run wins. He's like, practice tomorrow.
Practice will be tough.
Practice tomorrow's going to be tough.
Hey,
maybe it was.
Yeah,
bring an
maybe
extra Gatorade. Bring an extra Gatorade.
Yeah.
We're going to be running. Luka with the reps, always a thing. Yeah. LeBron has been a little bit testy on his role in the team. LeBron last night, in these last few games, after the game winner by Luka, when LeBron was just thrilled.
Yeah, that was.
He has been in some movies, but when he's on the court, he's not a great actor.
Correct.
That's why he also gets, like, people make fun of him for the flops. Like, you're not as good of an actor.
But you're not fooling
No,
me,
but you can read his emotions.
He's happy.
He must
that
think
really looked good.
he can do it. This isn't like, we're going to make a run. This is, we can win a championship, LeBron.
Yeah. I think, yes. I don't think he views them as the favorite. But I think he no longer views them as drawing dead.
No, and it felt like earlier in the year he was
asked about it. He was like, what's the difference between us and OKC? He's like, they're a championship caliber team and we're not.
Yep.
I mean, he flatly said it. I also, Brou, and we're going to talk more about LeBron and his role later. But I could have lost a ton of money last night. I only didn't because when I was trying to make the bet, someone called me, and thank God, and then I forgot. Because in the morning, I was going to bet a ton against the Lakers. Yeah. Because Miami was only a 3-point favorite because they didn't know who was going to play. And I was like, no chance these guys are playing. They swept Houston. They got into Miami at 5 in the morning. They have a bit of a cushion. It's third game in 4 nights. And listen, Austin said as much, but once LeBron said he was playing, there was an onus on everybody else to play. And I was shocked, Brou, that everybody played and they didn't just say schedule loss. We took care of business.
But I love that mentality.
I love it. It was,
forget all that schedule, load management. It's time to lock in. I love that mentality. I also think with LeBron, because it was notable how joyous he was.
Yes.
I think he's obviously a student of the game. He knows the game. He knows players who can play, who can't. I think he also just is like, Luka is bad. Like, Luka is a bad. Like, I think he just respects how good of a player Luka is. And I think that's part of why he's so happy and celebrating and, all of that stuff.
And also just because you mentioned Elgin, Luka now, this is the second time in his career he has 100 points in consecutive games. The only Lakers to do that more than once. Elgin did it 3 times, and Wilt has 13 instances of it, which I just thought was noteworthy.
Lakers in Orlando tomorrow night. Head to San Antonio. Suns up 1, 10 seconds left.
Bang.
Wemby gets the ball, single coverage, mid-range jumper to win it. He goes for 34. Might want to put 2 on Wemby.
If you look at this play, Fox was wide open in the corner. And Wemby did not go to him. I liked that he was like, and he could see him. He could see him in his peripheral vision. Like right there, see it?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm taking this. And he can get a good shot anytime he wants. Yeah. Nobody can disrupt his shot. So.
Here's Wemby postgame.
Of course, the first instinct is to be proud of it and to love it because we're part of it. But the key for me is to try to not care because we want to attack 82 games. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm scared to become complacent. So I'll be on the other end of the spectrum and try to not care at all.
Are the Spurs ready to make a finals run?
Yeah, they are, and they really don't have, I don't know if they look at it this way or if they, as young as they are, even thinking like this. Nick, there's really not a lot of pressure on them. I mean, I would say certainly if they got beat in the first round by Phoenix or, whoever, that would be a downer, and that would kind of put a real damper on the season. If they get to the second round and maybe lose to the Lakers, I'm not saying they will, but I don't think people are killing them. I think they're like, this is what we said. Yes, this is what happens. So if they can really realize there's really no pressure on us, so let's go out here and just continue to play as we have in the regular season, then they could do something. They are 5-0 again, or 5-1, I should say, against scratch that. Since February 1st, they've been the best team in the league. So we got the graphic. 20-2, but look at the rankings. Best offensive team, fourth best defensive team, best point differential, field goal percentage, and the three-point percentage is what you really want to know, because outside of their just sheer inexperience, that was like the one thing you could say, do they shoot well enough?
Do they have enough shooting?
And they were 38% over the last essentially 2 months. That is basically top of the league, 38%. If they are doing that, then all they have to do is play smart. And I do think at times, I've said it before, sometimes I wish they played through Wemby more. In the playoffs, that may have to happen. And they've got to be smart enough to make that adjustment and go to him if they need to. But look, they also have guys that can beat you off the dribble, which is important in the playoffs. Castle, Fox can beat you off the dribble. Then they got shooters, Champagnie, Vassell, and Harrison Barnes. So they have it all. The question really is just, is there enough experience there?
So you and I are like-minded on this to a degree, I think. So the three-point shooting is interesting. And I put it in somewhat of a similar bucket as the Lakers being like the sixth best defense during this run. That level won't maintain, but how much when it regresses, how much does it drop, right? And I'm going to use Wemby as kind of the avatar for it, because Wemby this month went from an okay three-point shooter that shot a decent amount of game to a high-volume three-point shooter that was excellent at them. So if we look at Wemby's three-point percentage.
High volume as well.
Well, yeah. So look, October through February, 5 a game, 34.5%. March, 8 a game at damn near 39%. So if he is 8 a game at 39% in the playoffs, they'll beat everybody. Like that,
and that's interesting. Because you do want him down low a little bit more.
Yeah, but at 39%, you shoot as many as you want. And so, that to me is, I don't think that level maintains. The question is, how far does it drop? And then the experience thing is just unprecedented, or at least not since the Blazers in '77. Yep. And so, if you look at teams that won the title, their rotations playoff experience. Here's where the Spurs would be historically. So 78 is misleading, I feel like, because 71 of those games are Harrison Barnes. For real.
Fox only has 9?
Fox has 7.
7.
Fox has the 7-game series, light the beam. That's it. Of the top. Now, if you do their whole team, the numbers, because they have Cornette, who doesn't play that much. They have Bismack Biyombo on the roster. But as far as the guys who play minutes for them, you know what I mean, big minutes, Harrison Barnes is at 71. The rest of the roster's at 7. And then you see it. So, that is the Brou.
Leave that up. Yeah. The interesting thing there is every single one of those teams has a historically great player, was led by a historically great player. Bill Walton, Larry Bird, Shea, Steph, and Olajuwon. So that's the thing, and we're all learning this as maybe Wemby breaks some precedents. I mean, he is something we've never seen before.
Correct.
And so maybe he will break some of these things that we thought were conventional wisdom.
Can I ask you a question, Brou? Because we kick around playoff experience a lot. Just to get down to another level, do you think it's the schedule, the intensity, the playing one team possibly 7 times in a row?
I think that's
what is it when we talk about playoff experience?
I think the intensity is unlike anything you've seen in the regular season, number one. Then when you play, they now can zero in on you. So, for instance, just think last night, Miami, LA. Miami didn't really have much time to get ready for LA. The Lakers certainly didn't have much time to zero in on Miami. But when you're playing them in the playoffs, you've had a week or so to get ready for them. And then in between games, you're getting ready. So by game 3 or something, they know all your plays, all your tendencies. You know all of theirs. That's why having a guy that just, okay, you know I like to go right off 2 dribbles and then spin or whatever. You know I'm going to do it, but you still can't stop me. That's why it's important to have guys like that. And they got Wemby, and then Cassell and Fox can kind of do that too. But that's really what it is. The intensity of playing a team 7 straight times is just crazy.
And I think it's also, if you have a single glaring defensive flaw, the opposing team would be like, well, we're going to run that play repeatedly until you take that player off the court. Like, I mean, this is a guy who the audience probably only knows for his political nonsense, but Enes Kanter, when he came into the league, it was like, man, this guy's 28. And then every year his team make the playoffs, be like, oh, he can't play 2 minutes.
Yep.
And so that's the other thing that just happens in the playoffs that you never see in the regular season.
That's happened a few times. It happened in that Celtics-Mavs series.
That's not what happened in that series. The Mavs stopped scoring. That's actually not what happened
Luka,
in that series.
They did. They hunted him.
2 great performances from Wemby and Luka. Both received MVP chants. Wemby from his teammates and fans. Luka from the road crowd. Take a listen.
I got 1 chant before we take it in. MVP! 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 MVP!
And there's the chant we were talking about.
Okay, lots of chants, but it's time to find out who's the real MVP on Brou's Ballot.
Well, let's give the definitive list as it stands right now. Now it's been changing, all right, and it could change some more. I know Nick is really on pins and needles to see what this is. All right, at number 5, he might not end up being eligible, but Cade.
Sure.
This will kind of give away who's at 4 or who's not at 4 at least. I chose him over Jalen because he has led this team to the number 1 seed as the only offensive guy that can create his own stuff. Jalen's been great. No slight to Jalen at all. We got some great players this season having great seasons. Yeah.
If the Pistons just go on a terrible losing streak,
but he will stop being eligible.
I know, but would that, in your mind, would that?
He can't win it to me. You're right. If they went 1-11 or whatever it is, it's still. I mean, I just think the West guys are too tough. But at number 4, Nick's gonna be upset. Luka Doncic. All right, number 4.
That's outrageous.
This is first time on the ballot.
That's too.
All right.
4 is shocking.
That he's that low?
Yes.
Yeah. There's some other good guys doing their thing, but Luka's climbing. He's 4th and climbing.
Okay.
He hasn't even been on the ballot yet. All right. Number 3. Jokic. And here's why. He is, Nick, and you love history. So don't get mad because he's not your long-lost Slovenian adult son. All right? He is about to become the only player ever to lead the league in rebounds and assists per game. He does lead in PR. He's dropping, but he's still at 32.9, has the highest PR ever. All right?
Something.
Now look at this. Here's the comparison. Because like I said, things could change. But as great as Luka's been, look at the numbers. Outside of scoring, Jokic has him beat in everything. And a lot more efficient. And then it's a 3 seed Luka versus a 6 seed. But it's like a 3-game difference. It's not a ton of difference in terms of wins and losses.
Something.
But we'll see. They're battling it out. All right. At number 2, I'd love to see him win it. It'll be interesting to see if some of the voters, you never know what motivates some voters. Are they, hey, Shea got it last year, Wemby's, emerged this year. I think a lot of guys could arguably win it. But I got Wemby at 2 just for the jump that he's led that team to the second best record in the league. And that means Shea's number 1. I just think Shea has just been so consistent, obviously because of the Wilt thing with the 20 points. But beyond that, he is just so consistent. And then, Nick, his second best player, most of us believe, has been out for 44 games, 44 or 70 games, and they haven't missed a beat.
So listen, if people care, I agree with you on Shea for the time being. I would have Luka 2, Wemby 3, Jokic 4.
Wow.
And this is my two-pronged quick argument. First on Luka. Scoring champs on top 3 seeds, usually that's the argument. This century, the only time the scoring champion on top 3 seed didn't win MVP was when they was competing with peak LeBron on the Heat. KD in 2012, Melo in 2013. Otherwise, that's been all you needed to do. Is your team awesome? Are you the scoring champ? You win it. Like that's what
Melo,
it's been.
That's where they finished?
Where they finished. I'm saying,
okay.
So the 2 guys who didn't win it, it was LeBron with the Heat who won it, and LeBron was just so universally regarded as best player in the league. Now, Melo did finish 3rd, not 2nd, I understand. And then here is my, it's not anti-Wemby argument at all, but it is just, I think we pick and choose when defense matters for this award. The last 5 Defensive Player of the Years have combined for 0 first place, 2nd place, 3rd place, 4th place MVP votes.
Yeah, but
one guy.
They're a lot of them are role players.
No. Well, it's Evan Mobley, Triple J, Rudy Gobert, Marcus Smart. The point I'm making is this. Yeah. When it comes to MVP voting, it has never been half of your offense, half of your defense.
No, that's not true. Olajuwon, his defense was a big part. David Robinson's defense was a big part. Jordan's, at least some of the years, his defense was a big part.
I agree that they were parts of it. I just said it's never been 50-50.
But his offense is great.
Well, so that's...
I'm not saying it's as good as Luka's or Jokic's.
So here's the other thing, if we could do the Wemby blind reveal that I think will surprise people. And again, I think Wemby, they can win the title. I just said I'd have him 3rd in MVP voting. This is Wemby this year. Do we agree those numbers on the right it's fewer assists this year, fewer blocks, but more efficient, but they're basically identical? Do we agree?
I'm not answering questions.
Just do you agree those numbers are basically
They're
identical?
close. They're close.
Here's who the guy on the right is. Wemby last year.
Well, he only played 46 games.
I understand, but the difference is the team record, right? And the fact that they're... So what I think is this. I don't think Wemby has gotten from, massively better from last year, but his team has. And he's been more available.
So just
when you watch those games, he's more than... I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, just anecdotally, because I think we're going to say the same thing. Stephon Castle has said, I can play more aggressive defense and get steals and lock guys up because I know
I think his defense,
stuff that's not showing up.
No, but I'm talking about him as an offensive. I think last year was already the best defensive player in the league, and they are. My point is they're.
But the halo effect of Wemby making the team
better defensively.
But offensively,
and offensively,
when you watch their game, his numbers do not tell the story from offensively. He could easily average close to 30, if not 30, if they played like most teams do, where they everything runs through Wemby.
Right.
And he's good enough where everything could run through.
I agree with that entirely, but usually you don't get MVP bonus because you could be having better numbers. They're 10-5 without him. They're not bad. I just don't think historically 24-11 and the best defensive player in the league is not enough to win MVP or to beat the 33-8-9 guy who's right behind you in the standings.
Would you admit he's beyond the best defensive player? He's not, good defense.
He's far and away the best defensive player
in
the league. I agree. Okay. Team's 10-5 without him. I just think
Shea, you said what, 8-4 without him?
Welcome back to First Things First. Mike McCarthy and the Steelers may only have eyes for his old QB, Aaron Rodgers. Friend of the show, Bill Barnwell, writing, Pittsburgh has let players such as Kyler, Tua, Justin Fields, Geno pass by, even though it would have been able to add those quarterbacks on deals that are mostly paid by their former teams. The Steelers could go after Kirk Cousins or Jimmy G, but a reunion with Rodgers seems inevitable. Chances this works out for Pittsburgh?
0. 0. Now, if working out is getting to the Super Bowl or winning it, okay? And I'm starting to believe you when you say, that's not what the Steelers are about.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you're right and it's just about let's get in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. What about
I'll say slim.
And make some noise.
Hold on,
Slim.
can we set it at win a playoff game?
Oh, that's
Because that
would be a huge win.
That's what I'm saying.
Slim at best.
So you give them a slight chance at that. Because I give them no chance. But go ahead.
I do think they are
win a
going to.
playoff game?
I think they're going to experience their first losing season, obviously, since Tomlin was there. I think we're going to see that Tomlin's, and he had some faults, but he was holding this thing together and getting them to their 9 or 10 wins every year. Aaron Rodgers was mid last year.
Yep.
And at 42 and 43, he's not going to get better. And check this out. His last 2 years with Mike McCarthy, who I do think is a good coach, but his last 2 years with McCarthy in Green Bay, that was MVP Rodgers. I mean, he won it 2 years after, McCarthy left 2 times. They were 10-12-1. 10-12-1. Rodgers did miss some games because of injury the first year of this too. But this is a terrible move by the Steelers. Wow. They need to just go ahead. They should have taken their lumps this year, rebuilt under McCarthy, and gone for the future. And they're going to try to win. They might win 7 games, something like that.
I think they should sign Kirk Cousins.
Really?
Yeah, I am offended on the Steelers' behalf that Rodgers is just such a delicate snowflake that he can't make his decision yet. Like, you can be like, Nick, why are you then not bothered about Kirk Cousins? I don't think there is a team in the league that has said to Kirk Cousins, you're our starter. Mm-hmm. And so I think Kirk is waiting to survey the landscape in a way a lot of like the second and third wave veteran free agents are. That's not this. This is like, it is inexplicable, bordering on indefensible, why Aaron Rodgers is not on the Steelers yet. If, assuming the Steelers want him, which it appears they do, and this whole they haven't offered me a contract nonsense he peddled to McAfee, that I tried to be nice the day of it, and then I was like, Nick, just be honest with the audience. This is all kayfabe. This is wrestling at this point. And for some reason, he needs to be special. He can't sign in the regular wave of free agency. He can't just be a part of the regular timeline of a season. And this is 4 years of this now. From a darkness retreat to all of it. And I just don't know how many implausible Aaron Rodgers stories I have to come on TV and pretend I believe. He had a pick as a safety 3 months after Achilles surgery.
True.
And practice squad.
Don't
he
you
might
dare.
retire.
Don't
he
talk
doesn't
about
know
the
what
hole
he's
in,
doing.
If you talk about the hole in one.
It is debasing. And he's not conflicted on whether or not he's playing football. Right. He's not conflicted on where he's playing football. So why the fact that he is making a, call it $12 billion organization, wait and pretend, like, no, if we have to go into the year with Brou's guy, Will Howard, as quarterback, we're prepared to. No, you're not. Because you know who's playing quarterback for you, but for some reason he won't sign up for it. And that, on the position in sports where leadership matters the most, that's a bad idea. So I just signed Kirk Cousins. He seems awesome. Like, as far as one of the guys, you know what I mean? And so...
And I think he can play as well as Rodgers.
That's what I think.
Better.
That's what I think.
I just think they should go young. But,
sure, but I'm saying if they've decided we don't want to go old, then I'd just go with Cousins.
I'm going to bring it back onto the field. CeeDee Lamb sat down with Ross Tucker and talked about his former coach, Mike McCarthy, and the Steelers. So I'm going to play what CeeDee thinks the offense is going to look like and then show you some Aaron Rodgers stats. Take a listen.
As soon as you walk in the building, you're going to feel his energy and you're going to feel like what he wants to do. He wants to go vertical with the ball. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Okay, so here was Rodgers on deep passes. He only had 41 attempts, middle of the pack. He only completed 29%, so that was 24th. 5 touchdowns were decent. The passer rating of 90, again, about middle of the pack, a little bit better. So if McCarthy really wants to go down the field like he did with old school Aaron Rodgers, maybe Rodgers isn't the fit. If Mike McCarthy still has an offensive game plan, maybe old school Aaron Rodgers to a plus style, get it in quick dumps, isn't going to work for the Steelers.
Get rid of the ball. And look, the last 2 years in Green Bay were disastrous for Rodgers.
Well, then he means
his last 2 years with McCarthy.
Not his last two there. Over.
And we thought he was done. And then LaFleur comes in, changed the system, and he wins 2 MVPs. This is not going to work.
They're going to try to compete.
It's ridiculous.
It's obvious. As soon as they signed McCarthy, they're going to try to compete, and they had no fire sale like the Dolphins are doing. They're keeping everybody.
With respect to good friend of the show, Pittsburgh's Andrew Filipponi, I am delighted that one of the silver linings of Tomlin moving on is that in short order, we can stop. The Steelers' relevance is going to be dwindling. And until they, I think, accept, hey, we have a fan base that wants to get its 7th Super Bowl and has been waiting for quite some time, thinking we were close, we need to build towards it. They're just a great brand. They're not anywhere close to being a great team. And the last couple of years, they have not been a well-run team.
No, but they did win the division.
Yeah, yes, I understand that.
They're third best team in that division this year.
I mean, they should be, but they always seem to
Shots
make
fired
moves.
at Bruce guys should do.
We thought that Mike Evans signed with the 49ers for a change of scenery, and the idea that the Bucs couldn't compete with the cash that San Fran offered, Brou. Well, we were wrong, according to Tampa Bay Bucs GM Jason Light. I don't feel betrayed. I'm in mourning. He earned the right to make this decision. We made a significantly higher offer than the 49ers, and that was just the first offer. Feel like we did everything we could. So this is a full twist on this Mike Evans story.
How are you feeling? That's what I mean. This is we thought Duke would have been an L. This is a major L.
I'm shocked by this.
I'm stunned. If this is true, look, I think Baker is a very good quarterback. I don't see why a receiver wouldn't want to play with him. But when you start to look at why in the world would Mike Evans leave there and they offered him more money? He's been there 12 years. He's like an institution with the Buccaneers. He's not from California. He didn't play college football in California. Like, he has no ties to the Bay Area or the
record,
state.
I'm not from California either, but it's pretty sweet there.
Yeah.
Well, he went to the part where the weather's not quite as nice as it is in Southern California. Yeah. And you're a receiver. You're looking at the quarterback.
Yeah, but also Kyle Shanahan, the offense, the Bucs have had to keep changing coordinators. Kyle Shanahan, it might be part of it.
I'm not saying it's Baker or he chose Brock over Baker. I'm just saying it's you as a receiver, you are looking at the quarterback. You're right, Shanahan. I think also, and I'm done, Nick, I think he may have felt like Emeka Ibuka was going to become the number one receiver.
Oh, I think that's
and he probably was, and maybe that was why
and the Niners
he can go to Niners be the number one guy.
And Kittle is coming off the injury, so he's probably going to be there week 1. So I think, to meet you halfway as you met me on Baker versus Purdy, Baker and Purdy swim in the same part of the pool together of quarterbacks. But I do think it'd be reasonable to be like, all right, if the quarterbacks are around equivalent, Kyle Shanahan and his focus on offense versus Todd Bowles, and again, nothing against Todd Bowles, but he's a defensive-minded coach, obviously. That, to me, is a big discrepancy. Your point on one team desperately needing a number one receiver versus the other team having drafted one who's ascending, all of that. And then there is this piece of it, which is the part that I just found so baffling about Wilds' take. This isn't Derek Jeter with the Yankees. Mike Evans with the Bucs is like it's very nice.
Yeah.
But
it's a nice.
You talked about it like it was Jeter.
I mean, yes, it was. He wasn't even that attached to it. And
is he going to have a statue outside of?
He's not going to have a statue outside of
I don't think he's got a statue.
He's not a statue. I like Mike
Really?
Evans. And the 1,000 yards in a row was
First
cool.
of all, I'm very
but
liberal.
He's not a statue.
I'm very liberal with my statues.
Well,
Don't
nobody
get me
else
wrong.
is.
He's like
Is he the
Lakers.
longest
You're like
tenured?
LA, the crypto.com. Everybody, you had a nice season, made an all-star team.
The
Give him a
every
statue.
1,000 yards,
cool.
got a Super Bowl.
The
He was an institution there.
He wasn't.
Coaches change, quarterbacks change, defenses change. When I think about the modern day Tampa Bay Bucs, I think about Mike Evans.
Okay, so let me bring you a different.
So I'll build
let
him
me
a
bring you.
statue.
Hold on. Let me
at least a bus.
So here's why I found it like. I'll bring up a different friend of our show. Same division, around the same age, same Hall of Fame probability. Cam Jordan and the Saints. He might not be a Saint next year.
Well,
nobody's gonna cry about that.
I like Mike Evans.
We all
felt like he
Mike Evans.
I didn't understand why you thought of this as like Dirk
Kobe
with the
leaving the
Max.
Lakers.
That's exactly how I thought about it. It's Mike Evans and the Bucs.
This is so weird.
There's a full generation that
Giannis
came.
has been on his Bucs longer than Mike Evans on these Bucs.
Yeah, and now
you want
every
him
day
to leave. And you
we
want
have
him
to
to
be
leave.
crying about it.
No,
Mike Evans like, I'm out of here for
this
less
was
money.
Such a weird.
No, it's not. Mike Evans is great.
This guy,
Mike Evans is a Tampa Bay Buc.
but he's not.
Well, that hurt my feelings. I don't even like the Bucs. It's Mike Evans.
We know, buddy.
Doesn't it feel like he should be on the Bucs?
No, it doesn't.
No,
Doesn't it?
that thought has never once crossed my mind.
How long was he on the Bucs for?
Evans
12
not with
years.
the-
12. Number 1 Duke, huge favorites against number 16 Siena. They were down at half and only won by 6. It's not a good sign. Here's Cam Boozer.
We came out here with the mentality that it was going to be handed to us, and obviously that's not what happened. We got punched in the mouth, so we just got to learn from it going forward.
I've been on Duke for months. Everybody knows it.
Yeah,
Should I be worried?
shouldn't be worried. Should be terrified. I'm not even trying to use misdirection. There is the precedent says you're cooked. Here's the 1 seeds that had nail biters against 16s, and what do they all have in common? None of them won the title. None of them made the title game. Only one made the Final Four, that famous '89 Fightin' Illini team, and it ain't great. It's, in the last 10 years, the only team to trail by double digits in the second half against the 16 seed was the Virginia team that lost, you know what I mean, to the 16 seed. And so it is, I know the tournament has changed over the years. One thing that has been consistent throughout is 1 versus 16 is a bye. And it was not for you guys. And it wasn't just like Siena got out 20-2 and then Duke was fighting back. Siena was the better team for the first 30 minutes and then had the back-to-back missed dunks and it kind of unraveled on them. But, yeah, I'd be worried.
Yeah, and look, you already had the toughest region in the group, in the bracket. And, I mean, when I look at now, Nick, I know you're feeling good about St. John's in this game if they face Duke in the Sweet 16. If they don't get St. John's, assuming they get there, they got Kansas probably.
Yep.
So that could, Kansas with Darren Peterson and with him kind of fitting in with everybody playing consistently.
Probably better than a 4.
Who knows where they could go, right. And then you got Michigan State and UConn. And so it just, to me, they need to look great in their next game and maybe get that out of their mind. So
I have an announcement to make.
Oh, he's going to
hedge
on UConn. You're going to hedge on UConn.
Don't tell me what I'm going to do.
Let's see.
Duke versus TCU, Saturday. They are favored by 12.5. Even if they win by double digits, if this is not an easy victory, I am going to change my pick to the UConn Huskies.
You're not allowed. You're not allowed.
You say that like
new-
it's no big deal.
I have
like,
new
you know
intel.
what? I'm changing my pick.
I will have.
We did our Final Four for a reason.
I will have new information on Duke that they are not
You've been
ready.
watching them all year.
They're not ready. Well, Cam Boozer said we thought we were gonna. What?
Wait, what did he say?
Yeah, I thought they were gonna give us the game.
Oh.
What are you talking about?
He was just saying what he felt he was supposed to say.
Okay, Malik Brown. A lot of us weren't playing our type of basketball. Like I said, we thought it was going to be a cakewalk going into the game. What type of preparation do we have? Is there a speech in the locker room? Hey guys, get out, break a sweat. This one's going to be easy. What's going on? I'll tell you who's not doing that. The Hurley squad. We're locked in.
No,
They would be up 30 screaming at people.
But
Right now, as of now, you still
As
got
of right
Duke.
now, I have Duke and UConn in the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
But I will switch it out. Duke is on thin ice.
This is why.
And I've been on them for months.
See,
I've been on Duke. If Duke doesn't take care of the
You
Horned
should have known
Frogs
that they were
with
capable
ease,
of this.
can I add?
I'm out.
Can I add one tiny take on America's favorite polling school, Siena?
Shout out,
The
shots
New York
at
Times.
Quinnipiac.
Yeah,
great.
you're right.
Right.
That's the best joke you've ever had. I love that. Shots at Quinnipiac. Well done, buddy. I'm very happy for those players, and I'm sad they didn't win, but they comported themselves well. But I hope they lose their coach to Syracuse. Oh. Jerry McNamara should go coach Syracuse.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
That would.
Syracuse just got turned down by a coach. Like, I don't know what's happened to a once very proud basketball program that obviously is my alma mater. Jerry McNamara, go back to Cuse, return us to glory, please.
That would be cool.
It'd be awesome.
Very cool.
I always get a little bit nervous that eventually you have to let him go.
Then you got to let him go. Still, he's at Siena. It would be a huge jump for him.
Syracuse
I like
would
that.
have to let him go?
He's saying,
No, it's just like the
Syracuse is
live from New York. It's a show that might be on the UConn Huskies pretty soon.
it's not allowed.
I am in the women's bracket. I might switch
take
over.
Integrity. There used to be something called
Exactly.
take integrity on this.
You haven't switched your squads?
No.
Get out of town.
Never.
Never?
Once.
It's not true.
No, not only will Brou not switch his squads, his squad can be dead, and we all know he doesn't believe in them. And he'll just be like, look to the camera and be like, no, the Packers are my pick, and I'm not changing. But here's why Philly is gonna like.
Take integrity.
Yeah, that's right.
Second hour, first things first. Today, Luka scores 60. Lakers are hot. A lot of people saying he went nuclear. How far can the Lakers go? Meanwhile, A.J. Brown and Maxx Crosby to the Patriots. Strong, maybe. Maybe not. Maxx Crosby is just kind of a pipe dream. But A.J. Brown is very real. You know, there's rumors there's a handshake deal. I don't even know if that's allowed. But there's rumors.
Buddy, stop bringing us stuff from Ricky the dog and Patriots Twitter.
Hello, it's Hall of Fame adjacent and Fox employee Julian Edelman.
He's not saying there's a handshake deal.
He did the Patriots wink.
He just tweeted out a wink.
He told A.J. Brown we're all Patriots and A.J. Brown winked. That's newsworthy.
Okay, let's do.
It's time now for Title Pie. Dusty, I'm trying to do football, okay? There's no pie here. I'm talking about A.J. Brown.
There's no pie?
No.
There's no pie. We got rid of the pie. We didn't have to do it.
It's oddly we did have pizza pie earlier.
Yeah.
We did have pizza pie. It was late.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Time for Title Pie.
That's it?
We don't know how to intro. There's no pie.
Time for title.
Okay. I mean, he's not even explaining to the audience what it is.
It's a pie of teams. Ever seen Tears? Make it circular.
That's not what. What a bad guy. Percent chance
It's the same as tears.
It's
but
not
in a
though.
circle.
It's not.
Ever have a square cake? Cut off the edges. Now it's circular. No, it's a whole different cake. All right, it's a sheet pan cake.
Can I do this, please?
Sorry, go ahead.
Percent chance to win the title. We haven't done this in a few weeks. So we let you know if teams moved up or down. You'll see it. You'll understand it. 1% The Houston Rockets.
Oof.
I thought about putting them at 0.
Yeah.
Gosh darn it.
However, they are like a game out of having home court in the first round. They still have Kevin Durant. I think it's fair to say Ime Udoka's coaching rep has maybe taken a little hit this year.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it feels like he has been, he was the reason for their turnaround and all of that. And now it feels like you're like, wait, why is he not adjusting with that?
Right.
So 1%. It's dropped. Alongside them at 1%, Philadelphia. Now, folks might say they also deserve 0%.
Yeah.
I think Brou definitely would say
Yes,
that.
absolutely.
If they're healthy entering the playoffs, they have about as much frontline talent as any team in the East. If Embiid comes back, Paul George off his suspension, Maxey, who's been the best player on that team for a couple years now, plus VJ Edgecombe, it's like, oh, my pal, my son's pal Quentin Grimes, other guys on the team, it's interesting. So they give him a 1 in 100 shot. It really probably should be lower. They've moved up since last time from 0.5% to 2%, despite the fact that they are on a bit the last week of a losing streak. The Clippers. Put them at 2%. That is somewhat bolstered by the fact that I feel like the Suns and the Clippers, Suns, by the way, who are not going to be represented here, they don't have to worry about getting popped in the play-in. One of them is going to be playing an elimination game. I'm just not worried at all about the Blazers or the Warriors as we sit here. And Kawhi, banged up now, but has been playing some of the best ball of his life. 3%, same place as last time, the Cavs. Not going to dismiss them entirely, despite my reservations about Harden, especially now that I found out from Danny they have a big 4. I don't know how many teams have a big 4. Amazing. They stay at 3%. This one's a bummer, and it's nobody's fault, but down to 4%, the Detroit Pistons. Yeah. I was listening to our pal Vincent Goodwill on Wendy's pod talk about how the most optimistic timeline for Cade Cunningham is that he is cleared to return the day before the playoffs start. Wow. That it's 2 weeks of nothing, then a week of cardio, then a week of basketball activities, which would put him on April 15th. And the playoffs start the 17th/18th. So now again, maybe he can use round 1 to ramp up and then be okay by round 2, but it feels like it put them behind the 8 ball. Staying at 5%, Minnesota. The back-to-back conference finals appearances are doing a lot for this team's, the belief we have in this team. But Ant is still phenomenal. I like their head coach. Obviously, Julius Randle isn't having the year, particularly after the trade rumors that you would have hoped. I still leave him at 5%. Down to 5%. The Nuggets. Was it the Jazz? Who did they just lose to the other
Grizzlies.
night? The Grizzlies, sorry. They lost to one of the tankers. The defense is just not going to get better. And here is the biggest knock, Brou, on Joker's MVP case. They have been terrible in the clutch, which is where so much, a little bit of that's got to be on, everything runs through Joker. I know how great he is. I'm not knocking him, but as far as, it's bizarre to see that team be that bad in the clutch when I don't think Michael Porter Jr. was the one holding it all together. They had been really good in the clutch.
Can I ask you a question about Denver before we move on? It's because I'd like to get back on the Denver bandwagon, but I'm having a hard time.
Go ahead.
Do you put any credence into the idea that they're running at a marathon pace and not, 10K pace that it seems like the Pistons are running at?
So I would like to believe that. But if that were the case, they would be able to snap into 10K pace in the final 2 minutes of games. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because it's a lot of games that they have been in the final moments and then blown. Like the Lakers game, listen, that was a little unlucky. They had it won. Austin makes the great play, but then they couldn't win in overtime either. Because I do think there is a big difference between being the 3 seed and the 5 seed if you're them. And, you know,
but maybe they're like,
I mean, they won a championship. Maybe they think seeding doesn't matter.
But
I'm sure their priority is just getting healthy.
Yeah, but also the wins matter enough to where you shouldn't lose to the Grizzlies.
yeah.
You know what I like? Those games should be loss proof. All right, now we get to 6% down just a tiny bit. The New York Knicks. I think they were at 7% last time, so not down a lot. I think they have the best resume of every team that's been on this screen thus far, but I'm worried about what's going on with Mikal Bridges because I think he's very important for them and was important for them in their playoff run last year.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. There's only 4 teams left, and as you can see, almost 3/4 of the pie are left. Because I think there's only 4 teams that actually can win the championship. I shouldn't say can, but the vast majority of the time, one of these 4 teams wins the title. And all the way up from 0.5% a month ago, 11%, 1 in 9 times, the Los Angeles Lakers.
It's a fair slice.
I don't think that's overdoing it, but with Luka playing at this level, the defense figuring out how to at least not kill them. Lately, it's been helping them, but I think at least it's stabilized. And LeBron seeming springy, fresh, and optimistic while accepting his role. That's a scary team to see on the other side of the bracket. And another team whose slice got bigger, but a team who I think we're going to see play them in round 2, the San Antonio Spurs at 15%. So their slice has gotten bigger from the last time. It would be even bigger if not for the fact that I think the Lakers versus them is a 60-40 series. And a 60-40 their way, but I do care. I wouldn't be as worried about their lack of experience if they were staring at a Rockets round 2 matchup.
Right.
I care about it a lot in a Lakers round 2 matchup. However, still have half the pie left. At 22%, the same slice, Oklahoma City. It is not the biggest slice because they are going to have to play to get to the finals one of those 2 teams behind them. Meanwhile, the biggest slice, up to 25%, the Celtics, who I just don't think there is anyone in the East that is the caliber of the Lakers or the Spurs to play in the conference finals. So I think the Celtics are so much more of a likely to be in the finals than anybody in the West, and that's why they have the biggest slice, and Tatum's only getting better. That is the latest edition of Title Pie.
Not bad. I think the Knicks, I'm fine with their placement, but I do think they can give Boston a run for its money.
Okay.
I think in Detroit, it's hard to believe in them at this point, but I think the Knicks can give Boston a run. It's going to be hard to beat them 2 years in a row with Tatum. So I probably would favor the Celtics in that series, but I think the Knicks can be right there. But I also, and I get your reasoning, but I would move OKC and San Antonio, give them the biggest 2 slices.
Okay.
I think OKC should be number 1, San Antonio number 2, Boston number 3. And I say that for several reasons, but one, those teams have handled Boston recently. And I know Tatum, has been out for much of that, but the Spurs are 2-0 against them the second time they beat them with Tatum. And OKC has beat them twice this year, I think, without Tatum, but then beat them last year, too. So they've won 3 straight against them.
Missoula can't win in OKC. It's weird.
Yeah, I think whoever comes out of the West, even if it's the Lakers, because by that point, everybody will be believing in the Lakers if they get through the West. I think the Western champion is going to be the favorite. So I would give,
That's interesting.
You don't think OKC would be favored over Boston?
Oh, OKC definitely.
Or what about the Spurs?
No, but that's what I was trying to figure out. I don't.
Like, if they get through the West, it's going to be like, oh, they've proven it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the flip side there is if by the time the finals roll around, if Tatum looks like 90% of Tatum, and how much, again, if OKC, if the San Antonio gets through the West with like back-to-back long series wars and the Celtics are winning, so I don't know. But OKC definitively would be the favorite, is going to be the favorite over everyone. I don't know who would be the favorites in a Celtics-Spurs series. I'm pretty sure the Celtics would be the favorite against the Lakers. All right, KW.
Interesting.
I think they would be.
Bonus take. Well, you didn't do a lot of bonus takes.
No bonus.
Bonus take. Just because you're giving out 1% slices, and with Cade's injury, and I know this team, I think right now is at the 10. Why don't you get a little slice to my Charlotte Hornets? Just a little slice.
It's title pie. It's not win a playoff game pie.
I understand that, but last year at this time, would anyone say, oh, you know who deserves a little slice? The Pacers.
Yeah, they had a slice.
Last year at this time?
Yeah, they weren't the 10 seed, buddy.
10 seed?
Yeah, I mean,
you thought the Pacers
I
would
guarantee
win the
you they
championship?
had at least 1%.
Well, that's what That's
Right.
what I think the Hornets should have.
And
A small percent. They started off slow. I get it. That's why they're the
they've
10.
cooled a bit as of late too.
Post All-Star, they have the #1 offensive rating. That's all I'm saying. If you have post All-Star, if you have the #1 offensive rating, the #6 defensive rating, #3 net rating, and you've made the most threes, you deserve to have a slice. It just so happens that resume is that of the Charlotte Hornets, who at times can seem like a silly team.
If they stay the 10 seed, they're not gonna make the playoffs.
You don't think so? You don't think they can win 2 games?
No, I don't. If they're the 10 seed, I do not think the Hornets are going back-to-back road elimination games. I don't.
I do. Especially if you get the Hawks. If the Hawks, we don't have to play the
Hawks
Hawks.
are hot.
The Hawks are going to be out of the play-in.
Right. He's
Yeah.
saying he'd
They're
rather
out
play
of there. They're the
Orlando or
6.
Philly or Miami
Yeah, I'd rather play Philly.
than the Hawks.
Yeah, the Hawks are scorching hot.
Okay. Yeah. I don't buy
Hawks.
it.
Is it time to start talking about the Hawks?
No, it's not.
It's getting it.
Quickly on the Thunder. Post All-Star, they're 13-1. I just also feel like they should have a humongous slice. And then I know
I'm the Celtics guy now. Who'd have thought?
Yeah,
you kind of took the Celtics. I thought it was like
Rude.
I thought he should have given me a heads up.
Sorry about that.
Now you're like wearing green outfits head to toe. It seems like something you should have talked about. Defending champs lose 70 games. This is because everyone yells at me that we have no more repeats aren't in vogue.
They all
anymore.
lose in round 2. The Lakers lost in round 1.
The argument is that, see that 55 right there?
Yeah.
That none of these teams are quite as good as this year's Thunder, who have been playing without Jalen
The
Williams.
Raptors were 51-19
Isn't that
without
crazy?
Kawhi.
I did. That blew my mind.
I had
as well.
no recollection of that.
Now those 2 seasons where the Lakers and the Raptors were
They had
affected.
DeMar and
Yeah.
Lowry.
Yeah.
And they were in the East.
No, they didn't have
No, no.
DeMar. They traded
Was
DeMar
gone
for
by the
Kawhi.
end. So who was leading?
I don't know.
It's it was Siakam, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Siakam,
I had
Siakam.
no recollection of that. Good for them.
Yeah.
But
Well, Thunder are better.
yeah, no, the Thunder are excellent, and I think I would be stunned if the Thunder don't break that ceiling of second round for defending. If the Thunder get clipped before the conference finals, that will be stunning. But I understand people didn't have the records, but everybody had massive confidence in the Celtics, in the Nuggets, in the Bucs. That the Warriors not as much. That they could just repeat as champions. Yeah, that's what people thought.
Well, we're due.
Okay.
True, buy that? Due dates?
I do buy it.
Okay. So there you go. Another successful episode of Title Pie without a pie.
I don't love when you do the there you go. That's a signal to us in the audience that you thought that segment was every time. I don't love it.
That was sick. I love that.
This episode is brought to you by Cologuard. Do you know what's really scary? Not screening for colon cancer when you turn 45. The Cologuard test is non-invasive, requires no special prep or time off work, and ships right to your door. In just 3 simple steps, Cologuard takes the scare out of colon cancer screening. If you're 45 or older and at average risk, ask your healthcare provider about the Cologuard test. Cologuard is available by prescription only. Learn more or request a prescription today at Cologuard.com/screen.
Nah, he has some tough shots out there. Like, it is what it is. I know what it's like to be in that mode. As people can see, it's not easy to get 80.
Brou, your reaction to Bam's comments on Luka.
Bam all but wanted to say, I got 80. All right,
Yeah.
I scored 83. All right, we raving about 60. Like Bam, look, I'm happy for Bam. Obviously, I defended him against some of the haters, like you. But Bam was talking there, like
Yeah,
like
this
he
is
does
what I
this,
do.
right? Like he's averaging 32.
Yeah.
So.
Scores like me and Luka know
right.
how hard this can be.
Here, I almost felt bad for Bam.
Why?
After hearing that. Because it felt like, on top of Spo saying I'm not apologizing, which was a weird defense of what was supposed to be a great moment.
Correct.
If Bam had, and I don't know what number would have been right, but if you didn't do the intentional foul to
He had
get the ball
scored
back,
77.
I think
Without the intentional foul.
without the intentional fouls, without the purposely missing a free throw, without some of the stuff that started to feel funky, and it was 77, 75, heck, you get applauded for 60. It would have just been universally loved.
And not remembered at all. So that's the thing. Listen,
Right.
like
we
Devin
will
Booker at
remember
70.
83.
that's my point.
Yes,
That's my point. Like you can never have everything.
80? You don't think we were like,
No, I think 80 he would have
80,
remembered,
yeah.
but he wouldn't have gotten to the 80 without the chicanery.
Oh, okay.
And so it was somebody mentioned the other day that was it Devin Booker that scored 72?
70.
Yes.
Okay, guess what? I do this for a living. I had forgotten.
I remember because he lost.
Oh, he
against
scored.
the Celtics,
Okay, yeah.
and they did the 70. I'm like, man, you lost.
So right, and I remembered Luka's 60-point triple-double where he did the Austin Reeves. He intentionally missed a free throw, got it, scored himself, and then they in overtime. I remember that because the next day, Brou and I were talking about how impressive it was, and because I think he had 20 rebounds with it, and Wilds was like, who cares?
Right.
So I remembered that. The only way, but Luka also had a 70-point game that I don't remember all the details to. It is historically resonant because we all know the 80-pointers. Wilt, Kobe, and Bam. And now maybe the Goldilocks zone would have been exactly 80 so the Kobe sycophants don't get angry because he was supposed to check out of the game and thank Kobe on the way out. I don't know, but
Stop fouling the Wizards.
He got the record in a similar way that Wilt got his 100. And I mean the modern era record, I should say. But that was a funny quote where he's like, "Yeah, man, it's hard."
This is what we do.
Yeah.
Shout out to the reporters for not giggling.
Well, Bam was giggling enough.
Yeah.
All right, more on this game, but on the LeBron side of things, he was responding to some of the noise and the plus-minus numbers around how the Lakers were playing better when he was sidelined or sitting. Remember, we had all those graphics. It was like Luka and AR.
Yeah.
Here was his response last night after another triple-double.
Just trying to figure it out, and then I was out a couple weeks ago and was able to come back and see how I can best fit fit those guys because they were just playing so dynamic off one another. So, it sells papers a lot easier and clippings and podcasts if you say LeBron. Bet their team is better off without him. A lot of people try to view it, so I get it. They're absolutely wrong.
Your reaction?
Yeah. I mean, I think he's right on every account. He's right that there's no team in the league that is better without a top 20 player than they are with him. There just isn't. Now, it doesn't mean that there can't be adjustments that need to be made in figuring it out, but holistically, you would rather have a really good player than not. And it is true that it did take some tweaking and some adjustment, and credit to LeBron for being the one willing to adjust. And the plus minus that you're alluding to is this, this piece. First 29 games, it wasn't working with him on the court much. And the last 20 games, it has been. And again, those aren't like jarring crazy numbers in either direction. 56 divided by 29 means the average game he was like minus 1.9. Right. And this game is like plus 4.0 essentially. But still, that's a big delta there. Right. And
almost 6, man.
And then there is the stuff that I keep hammering, which is a bought-in LeBron, the tax of having one of the 2 greatest players of all time on your team in a pressure and this and media attention way, but then also the benefit of what it does for other guys' psyches. And I thought Austin had 2 great quotes about this yesterday. So we'll play one sound for you, and then the other one is just going to be a quote that we didn't have a sound for. Go ahead and play it.
When he said he was playing, I was like, I can't let a 41-year-old play and I don't play. So he signed up to play, and so did Luka, and we went and grinded a win out. It's not an easy one, especially with the pace that team plays at.
So, and then Austin also said, I remember there was a timeout early, and JJ came over and was like, I know y'all are tired. And Brown was like, I'm not tired. So I was like, I'm not tired either. so yeah, follow the leader. That goes along with the belief that we're talking about. Like, that stuff really matters for a team trying to win a championship.
Yeah, and last week when you were on vacation, Nick.
No, working.
Working
vacation, whatever it was.
Doing international relations for the show.
Yeah, hybrid.
Yeah.
And the numbers were the numbers, right? Because they started this win streak without LeBron.
Yep.
And I said, you'll remember this, in the playoffs, like whatever the numbers say in the regular season, in the playoffs, they will be better off with LeBron than without him. No matter, even if this had not turned around, I still would have rather had him in the playoffs for all his experience and obviously his ability and skill and everything too. But yeah, and LeBron's in the media now, so he understands what sells and stuff like that.
What's moving newspapers
off and podcasts and all that stuff. But he has adjusted. That's why it's working. It may not have ever started working had he not adjusted. But credit to him, like you said, for sitting there and watching the team without him and seeing how they were playing and knowing that he could do the things that Austin and Luka can't. So even if he feels like I still could be handling the ball, running offense through myself, he knows Luka and Austin, what would they do if they don't have the ball in their hands a lot? And so he adjusted to that. He once told me, this is years ago, I can play any way that I need to play. And he was saying, this is his first stint in Cleveland. He said, if I had gotten drafted by the Pistons instead of the Cavs, and that was when the Pistons had all those guys, Rip Hamilton, Chauncey. They had 4, Rasheed and Ben Wallace. He's like, I could have just fit in there. And I was thinking, you wasn't just going to be a role player there. But he's showing that he could adjust. He has never adjusted this much. Like in Miami, he didn't adjust this much. Dwayne Wade said, look, it's your show. I'll play off you.
He adjusted some for Kyrie.
A little, but I mean, he still had the ball a lot. It was now another guy that had the ball, but he was used to that with Wade.
Yep.
And so, but this is really showing that whatever I want to do on the court, I can do it. And that's kind of what I was saying earlier in the year. He's playing some center. He can do that, particularly in today's NBA where there aren't a ton of big guys, certainly not that plant down on the block and you got to defend that all night. So he can play center and he's doing some of that. He can run the floor. He's doing that. He's in the corner, for as a spot up shooter. He's, picking and rolling something. He's catching lobs from Luka. Like he is doing everything. And as Luka's the best player, obviously, on the team right now, but LeBron buying in is their key because it not only does it help the team out, but everybody else, to Reeves' quote, is going to buy in. Like you said yesterday, maybe DeAndre Ayton now is like, look, man, all for one and one for all. LeBron is buying in, playing his role. I can play a role. And Rui and Smart and all these guys. And so maybe that's why the vibes have changed.
Well,
but it's great right now.
During the win streak, Luka's averaging 41 points.
Hey, that'll work.
That's pretty good. Once that comes down to even a Luka level of 33 around 30.
33 is what he's averaging for the year.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Do we see another version of LeBron?
So
Or is it just like
listen.
Well,
more
Reeves
points?
hasn't been scoring much lately.
Right.
Last
So
few
Reeves
games,
is
so
kind of what I find really interesting about last night and some of these games this winning streak is Reeves has been cold in some of them, and look, it's not like LeBron has been like, all right, never mind.
Yep.
He has.
I need to
He
be that
is,
guy.
trusted the process in that. Hey, this is how we're going to play. Then it can't change because Austin is 4 for 13. Like this just has to be how we play, and I happen to think LeBron might be enjoying this more than he thought. I don't think he would enjoy it for years
for
on
his
end.
career, no.
Right,
When
but
you're that level of player.
but I think there is an element of a new challenge or working a new kind of basketball muscle that I think is probably when you've got to. Last night he tied Robert Parrish for the most games ever played. He's played more minutes. He has had that record for years. There's not many new things for him.
No.
Right. And like there are certain parts of it that like I know that some people might be watching this and roll their eyes talking about me marveling at this, but like when we saw yesterday first that he was playing, and then the Lakers reporter that said he was playing showed, whatever time it was. It's like first one to the arena. That stuff to me is amazing. That he's still, at this point in his career, still like, no, I'm not going to shortchange this or any of it. And I'm going to do it while not getting the glory of that I'm the guy that they're always interviewing after the game, that I'm the best player, and so I do think that type of leadership is truly infectious. Yeah. And to your vibes point, he is and he says this, but like a big kid in a lot of ways, but the way he's just kind of, I don't know, I was going to say like a goof, like the little silly stuff he's doing.
But
I think in a long
thrilled.
NBA season, that can keep people engaged and on the same line. And I'm not trying to take a shot, but it just feels so different
it's fun.
than
it's a fun,
what's
team's
happening
having
in
a blast.
Houston.
Oh yeah.
And the vibe from their legend.
He has no burner account.
Well, yeah, but I mean, but even the burner accounts aside, just like the body language vibes,
the Rockets are
buy-in.
a joyless team.
Right.
Watch them. It's just. Ugh.
And he's averaging 12.9 shots a game this month, the lowest ever for his entire career in a month.
Oh yeah, probably by a decent amount. Yeah.
Yeah, because the other months are like 4 games or but for a full month, he's probably never come close to this.
Brady is back on the football field with Gronk and Joe Burrow and OBJ. And a Saquon highlight that I said, not allowed.
Oh.
Saquon doesn't know the rules.
Okay. Oh, flag football.
No
Wiles
jumping
is
in
gonna
flag
give
football.
a flag
Is
football.
that true?
Our YouTube page has all sorts of behind-the-scenes clips, original content that Gianna's been working.
Oh, wow.
So subscribe
This
to.
looks great, G.
So she's just got the camera rolling. We're none the wiser.
No, Brou.
I like that.
We've done all of these.
I like that though. I said, remember Giannis? I said you should just be rolling.
Yeah, that Brou wants to have that.
You never
show
know what
doesn't
you
work.
might catch.
I think
Just clear it with us. Hey, Brou, can I use this? I saw you doing it. Nah, yay or nay it. I like it, Giannis. I'm a fan.
What's your idea?
It's gonna
Check in
work.
on the Patriots.
It's gonna work.
Brou wants to be a streamer.
Yeah, that's right.
Check in on the Patriots. NFL.com suggesting that the Patriots trade for Maxx Crosby if he ever wants to leave Las Vegas. Meanwhile, lots of smoke around these A.J. Brown rumors. Hall of Fame adjacent Patriot legend Julian Edelman retweeted this clip where he says, "We're all Patriots," and A.J. Brown winks back at
That
it.
does look pretty good.
Thank you.
Nick, I gotta admit that.
Thank you.
There's something there.
And guess what? It was retweeted by Christian Gonzalez, who might be in the know.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think Julian Edelman has inside information that Schefter and Rappaport and Glazer don't? Do you honestly think that?
Well, you're asking me a very tricky question that I'm going to take a second to think about before I answer.
Oh, I didn't mean to put you on this.
Do I think that Julian Edelman is in a position to do wink rumors where perhaps professional journalists who have to go 100 for 100 or their reputations are at risk. I think that's very different.
No, that's totally fair.
When both of those things might be, if this ends up not happening,
right? No, nobody cares.
Hey,
you don't
Hall of
think
Fame adjacent Julian Edelman.
So I guess my question is,
I think there's any credence to the rumor that A.J. Brown, it is financially disastrous for the Eagles if they trade him before June 1st, that perhaps with the draft coming up, you know what? A.J. Brown to the Patriots. We can't quite paper it yet, but perhaps that agreement is further along than just ice cold nothing.
Okay, that I think is totally in play, and maybe this is not the sports media ombudsman time, but I would say if Julian Edelman knows that, Schefter or Rappaport, you're allowed to report exactly that.
Well, maybe
you're allowed, like, to say, hey, this is all signs are pointing towards. That's not.
Patriots are very very interested in a union with A.J. Brown.
I hijacked this. I didn't mean to.
No, that's okay.
Did you have a question you were going to ask?
No, I'm here to talk about A.J. Brown to the Patriots. Okay. No one thinks it's interesting. He's always like, oh, I'd love to go back with Mike Vrabel. I'm excited.
No, I think it makes sense. I think the deal makes sense, and I think you guys need a receiver.
Well, let me ask you this, because Crosby, there's been talk about that. Yeah. Should they prioritize A.J. Brown or Maxx Crosby?
I would say A.J. Brown. But I don't think we're giving up a number one pick either way.
Well, you can't get Maxx Crosby without giving up a number one pick. The Raiders, I think, will just run it back with him.
Okay.
Rather than if they had 2 ones on the board.
I totally
and Brou, thanks for asking the question. They got that up there.
That's why I was smiling.
That's why.
I just feel like Maxx Crosby's kind of a brainstorm fun idea for the Patriots, who ended up getting to the quarterback in the playoffs. No. But A.J. Brown is a real need.
So, but why do you? So if he's a real need and he's an excellent player and he's not in his 30s. And we just saw Trent McDuffie go for the 29th pick and stuff. Jalen Waddle, who I think you don't believe to be as good as A.J. Brown.
Jalen Waddle's not as good as A.J. Brown.
Go for the 30th pick and stuff. Why should you be able to get A.J. Brown for less than a 1?
That's a good question. Maybe we do have to give up a 1.
Okay.
Maybe if Jalen Waddle is the benchmark.
Jalen Waddle went for the 30th, a 3rd, and a 4th.
But A.J. Brown loves the Patriots.
But he doesn't decide where he goes.
He's done plenty.
And I don't know that he loves the Patriots. He loves Mike Vrabel.
I'm pretty sure he loves the Patriots.
He seems like a Patriots fan.
You mean he grew up rooting for the Patriots?
Yeah, like he loves, he gets Patriots jerseys and he freaks out like a little kid.
Okay, all right.
He should be the priority. I mean, you got a top-tier quarterback. Get him a top-tier.
And you spent a bunch of money on defense last year.
Yep.
And, I would agree. I just don't think.
Feeling great.
I think that if Jalen Waddle goes for the equivalent of the 25th pick of the draft, which is what all those were, trying to get A.J. Brown for the 50th isn't going to work. That's all.
Maybe, though. But he loves the Patriots. So. Live from New York, first things first, overtime today. Is anyone willing to join Chris Broussard in his proclamation that Wemby is the best player in the entire universe? Meanwhile, Sean Payton, Broncos coach, but now he's Tom Brady's coach, coaching the Fanatics flag football game this weekend. He joins the show to talk to Danny Parker. Danny, do you want to see some of my flag football plays to show them to Sean Payton?
Oh, I would love that.
I'll send you some.
Yeah, that'd be great.
You should coach your kids, too.
When they get there, yeah. We're doing basketball and
never too early.
Okay.
And finally, the Patriots adding not 1 but 2 superstars. How many first-round picks do we have? Maybe if that new rule gets through. Alongside Chris Broussard, I'm Kevin Wildes, Danny Parkins, and Nick Wright, who was complaining about the lateness of Danny Parkins' pizza order, which I thought was very kind, but
because Nick is a known diva. Huge diva.
I think wanting warm pizza is not like...
Yeah. The pizza was...
Or just wanting... Warm. You know what? I'm old-fashioned. I just think people should keep their word. I think if you're going to text everyone... I think if you're going to text everyone, pizza's going to be here at 12:05. and it's 12:45 and you're like, it's on 41st and 9th. I think that, especially
Why'd you
for
send the text out?
our,
They were asking when lunch was. People get lunch at a certain time.
Yeah, I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about our staff. They've been here since 9 in the morning.
Staff was happy. Nick was complaining. Another's complaining. You guys are all divas.
Great performance from Luka. 60 points. He's got 100 in the last 2 games. A lot of people, you know what people were saying?
What?
Went nuclear. Have you heard that?
It's spreading, yeah. I saw it on the bottom line.
That's exactly right. Here are the title odds, Parkins.
The limit.
Thunder, Celtics, Spurs, Denver, Cavs.
Cavs, told you.
Knicks, Pistons, and then the Lakers tied
40
with the
1,
Wolves. That seems
too much.
What's
too much?
Okay, what's your take on that, Parkins?
Okay, a little bit of nuance here. 40-1 does seem like a bet that I would be interested in putting a little sprinkle on, and if you line shop around, you might even be able to find 45-1 out there. But like, do I actually think they can pull this off? No.
Wow.
Because like, game it out. Like, let's say the playoffs started in 3 or 4 days.
Right.
Standings held.
That's exactly what I hope happens.
Okay, so you've got to go. You have home court in the 3-6 matchup against Jokic and Denver, who are is one of the only offenses that is playing at or above your level in terms of offensive rating. The only Lakers loss this month is to Denver. They've played twice. One was a close win. One was a close loss.
They've also been great against Denver since they got Luka.
No, I understand that, but they're not.
I don't feel good about that.
That's not an easy round 1 matchup.
Who would you pick?
Denver.
What? So then why do we play the games?
Well, I don't hate that. I don't hate that. I think I picked the Lakers the way they've been looking lately, but I think Denver have a shot.
I think that is a 6 or a 7 game series. I think that is a 6 or a 7 game series that is roughly a coin flip, and I will put more stock on what Denver did in the playoffs last year. You can disagree with that, but Denver is a proven playoff team.
Fair.
Then round 2, you lose home court advantage, and you have to play a younger, deeper, better defensive Spurs team. And if you get through them, you have to go to Oklahoma City to play a younger, deeper, best defensive team to only have a chance to get through them to, if it was right now, also not have home court advantage against presumably the Celtics in the NBA Finals. It is just a very tough road for a team that is playing out of its mind right now. Luka is playing amazing. I said yesterday he'd be my 3rd pick for MVP. I'm not knocking him. And I would bet it at 40 or 45-1. I do think it's better than a 2% chance of happening. But a Jokic, Wemby, Shea, Tatum path, not having home court in 3 of the 4 series, not being the better defensive team in any of the series except Denver, that is a very tough path.
Of course it would. Spoiler alert, America. Every path to a championship's a tough one, except for maybe the last year's. They are all difficult, and I think we're doing a little. We're freeze the standings now, which is where of the 3 teams that could be the 6th seed, the one that you think is the hardest is the 6th seed.
Well, you said you would want it to be.
I
would want Houston.
Right, which is, but by the standings metric, Houston's ahead. Like, Houston right now is a better team than Denver.
Right,
but you would want Houston I would want Denver over Minnesota for whatever it's worth. I don't think Denver is the same team this year. And I think that Denver has had massive trouble with Luka, and so I would be okay with it. I also think the fact that the Lakers have been the best clutch team in the league by a lot, and Denver's been a bottom 10 clutch team, will matter a lot come the playoffs. But, Hubs, do this in the other order. You said Luka's playing out of his mind. No, he's not. He's just being Luka Doncic. He's averaging for the year 33, 9, and 9, which is what he's averaged 3 of the last 4 years. And you can be like, well, but this month. This month he's playing over his skis. This is what he did the last March. He carried a team to the finals. Yes, this is 4.5 more points, but then he was averaging more rebounds and assists. The field goal percentages are a wash. The record is close to a wash. Like, this isn't as if it's unsustainable by Luka. 37 a game is, but 33.5 is what he averages for the year. Like, Luka averaging 37 for a month is, when you average 33.4 for the season, it's not like impossible to sustain. It's what he's been doing. I reject the idea that it is, you bet it because it's you get 40-1, but anything more, that's the only reason it's reasonable. Whenever you have a guy who might be the league MVP, certainly has an argument that he is playing the best basketball of anyone right now, plus Bron, plus a team whose defense is playing better, and your path involves a team with no playoff experience at all in round 2, you got a shot.
Just from Danny's path, you would play a championship MVP, a finals MVP, and then you would play maybe the best player in the world. Then you would play the reigning champs, and then you go into the East and play
one removed. That would, Nick, honestly, that would be one of the, if it is Denver, to me, that'd be one of the hardest roads we've seen in a while to a championship.
I agree, but what I don't think we can do is be like the seedings hold, except for when the seedings hold would make it easier. Because Boston's not the 1 seed. Detroit is.
But we're
putting Boston there.
I'm just saying favorites.
So let's look at it the other way. The Pacers last year. It's like, if the Pacers get through round 2, though, then Boston's the defending champion. Boston is waiting for them. No, they weren't. So we haven't had. We can say it's a fait accompli that if the Lakers get through the Spurs, they're going to have to go to OKC. But we're 7 years running where the defending champion has not shown up to the conference finals. And so the things can break. You're setting it up as if nothing breaks the Lakers' way. Every single thing you said is it all breaks as hard as possible.
But those are also Denver. We don't know who they meet in the first round, but if it's Denver, those are the most logical happenings. Like, they're going to meet San Antonio second round. They're going to meet OKC in the conference finals if they get there. I mean, that's just a difficult path. And it just breaks that way.
That's why the odds are so hard. And you said it in Title Pie, why you had the Celtics as the biggest piece of the Title Pie is because of the path. Like, you guys can make fun of me for Cleveland all you want, and maybe I can look to the odds makers a little bit more than anyone else here. But, like, if the Lakers are 40-1 and Cleveland is 13-1, it tells you how much easier the path is through the East than the West, even if it is Minnesota and then someone else and then the Thunder. Like, it's a much harder path for a team that is top heavy without a lot of depth.
Listen, the Lakers are not my pick to win the title. They're not my pick to win the West. The point that I am making is, I think it is flawed analysis to act as if they are drawing so slim because they are drawing so slim against the hardest possible path, as opposed to, and then what if, like, let me paint the other scenario. Because we think Houston's, falling apart and doesn't like each other, they fall to 6. And because San Antonio has no playoff experience whatsoever, and the Clippers have shown at various points this year they can be as good as anybody for a month.
That'd be huge.
The Clippers beat the Spurs, and all of a sudden the Lakers' path to the conference finals is a Rockets team that doesn't like each other and the flawed Clippers. Now can I say they can win the title? Sure. My
answer to the question is they can. Now, I've got OKC, Boston, and San Antonio favored over them, but I think they could win the title. If they're going to if LeBron will stay in that Swiss Army knife role, as Nick calls it, and Luka has been phenomenal in the playoffs. And if he continues to do that where nobody can really – heck, he ate up Kawhi and Paul George in their prime.
He's the last guy to beat Shea in the playoffs.
And so they have a shot, but they wouldn't be my pick.
LeBron responding to some of the conversation around the idea that the Lakers might be better without him, either when he's on the bench or when he was sidelined. Here was his response. Take a listen.
Just trying to figure it out, and then I was out a couple weeks ago and was able to come back and and see how I can best fit those guys because they were just playing so dynamic off one another. So, it sells papers a lot easier and clippings and podcasts if you say LeBron. Bet their team is better off without him. A lot of people try to view it, so I get it. They're absolutely wrong.
Dana, you're surprised how much LeBron has adjusted his game.
A little, but it's really fun to watch. I think it's always a little surprising to see the best player for 2 decades do something entirely different in real time. I think you have to at least be a little surprised by it. But he's a basketball supercomputer. He's the smartest player in the history of the sport by a probably considerable margin.
Wow.
And, do you disagree?
I think Magic is up there.
Yeah, listen, Magic obviously.
I certainly would say a considerable margin.
I just think
between those two.
The difference and listen, Magic played center in a game, I understand that, but just the length and the duration of which we've seen LeBron and the different variations of what he's been able to do over his career as the athleticism has kind of dipped and the different teams he's been on, the different teammates, it's pretty remarkable. So we were looking at how to quantify this, and this is just how best we could come up with. In the 8 years LeBron has been in LA, if you look at what's happened, he's scoring the least, with the ball in his hand the least, shooting basically as much from 2 as he ever has. Certainly, the attempts are the highest, the percentage second highest, and the second most free throws. It's fascinating to watch. Ball not in his hand, operating out of the paint, operating at the rim, doing it with maximum efficiency. He's not a great defensive player, but if he's operating with less energy on offense, he has whatever the peak of his capabilities are at 41 on defense because he's got more energy there. So it's fun to watch. I don't think they're going to be a top 6 defensive team in the playoffs, which is another part of my skepticism for the Lakers. But this stretch has been remarkable. And LeBron is not the biggest reason. I would say Luka's the biggest reason, but LeBron is the second biggest reason for it.
Yeah, I think Luka's the biggest. He's the best player on the team,
and he's playing
great. You need him to play great to have a shot. But LeBron's willingness to buy in is huge.
Yeah,
we saw it when LeBron. I'm not saying he wasn't buying in, but maybe before he figured it out, as he said, before he figured out what's the best way for me to play with Luka and Austin, they weren't playing that well together. And he sat there, maybe some during the games he was out, and figured out, okay, this is the best way. So that, number one, and then the ability to do it. It is hard to switch your game. He's been having the ball in his hands for 20 years, 21 years, and to be able to switch and then be incredibly effective at it at his age, no less. Look at Kevin Durant. You and I have said for years Durant should shoot more threes. But I get it. His natural, growing up, he shot mid-range jumpers all the time. He has never adjusted just to backing up a little bit and shooting many more threes. He shoots maybe 1 or 2 more a game than he used to. But that should be a part. But his game essentially stays the same, has stayed the same. Steph played different earlier, but under Steve Curry, he's running around, running off the to be able to switch your game the way LeBron has at this stage of his career is incredibly impressive.
I think the only legendary players that I've ever seen successfully and truly do it are bigs. Kareem and Duncan, I think, drastically changed. You know what I mean?
But a lot of it was the teams just weren't giving them the ball as much.
So maybe they were very similar stylistically. They just were accepted. I'm going to get the ball less. But I was going down the list in my head of God rest his soul and God love him. Kobe never changed. Kobe was not tell me if you think I'm wrong. I don't think Michael changed even with the Wizards. He obviously didn't need change with the Bulls, but with the Wizards, he was like, no, I'm still going to play Michael Jordan basketball.
That was just he added the
they didn't have a very good team, players around him, but he still played the same way.
He's played the same way. You could maybe argue Magic when he came back briefly post-HIV, but that was so small.
16 games.
Right. It was, and so it's pretty unprecedented, or at least unprecedented to I was going to ask you about Dr. J near the end, But it was
a lot of times it's just you don't get the ball as much. You're no longer the number one guy. So that's kind of how it was with
and
guys.
a lot of
that's
time,
how it is with most guys.
Right. And a lot of time it is also you are noticeably old.
Yeah.
Like and so LeBron is noticeably down athletically from peak LeBron, but that is still
very
above average NBA athlete by a lot. So it's not like, oh, his body has betrayed him, it's forced him into this, which makes it so fascinating. And I do think it speaks to, people joke, or, I don't think they joke. They poke fun at LeBron for lying about silly things. Discovering the Migos, they say, is a lie. The books he's read, The Godfather, those types of things. One thing that I don't think was a lie was him when he said a couple years ago, everything's extra credit at this point. Now, people can disagree and say you're wrong, actually, but I think he is truly at peace with that.
Oh, yeah.
I think he believes I have accomplished everything I came here to accomplish, and therefore is fine with, trying something new that I think some guys would look at.
Be the guy.
Right. Some guys would look at that as beneath them.
Yeah.
And he is not. And so Luka's definitely their best player and most important. But what you said, I agree with. LeBron's willingness to accept this role is the key to them having whatever chance they have, having a chance.
All right, let's head to San Antonio. Suns are up 1, 10 seconds left. Wemby gets the ball by himself. Mid-range jumper wins the game. He has 34. The Spurs clinch a playoff spot. I had them making the playoffs months ago.
Them and Duke.
You were trying to steal Wemby.
It's true. Here's Wemby postgame.
Of course, the first instinct is to be proud of it and to love it because we're part of it. But the key for me is to try to not care because we want to attack 82 games. And I'm not going to lie, I'm scared to become complacent. So I'll be on the other end of the spectrum and try to not care at all.
Danny, do you want to join Brou? Or Brou, do you want to
saw his look, Danny's look, when Wemby hit that shot. I think he's coming to my side.
Listen, you're like, Wilds tried to steal Wemby from me. Like, we all love Wemby. We're all amazed.
No, you don't.
I do.
No.
I do.
You have to say he's the best player in the world.
That's what I'm saying. I feel so boxed in here. Like, I'm not a Wemby guy.
I had the audacity to say I didn't think he was going to win Rookie of the Year because I didn't think he'd play 65 games. And now all of a sudden I'm a Scoot Henderson.
Yeah, right.
For a year.
It's a weird thing. Brou, I love when you talk NBA history. Like, you have a vote. I think it's cool. I ask you questions about it off air almost every day. I literally don't think it's ever happened that someone has said the best player in the world is a guy who has never played in a playoff game.
Well,
and
it has.
What?
When Bobby Knight said Michael Jordan was the best basketball player he's ever seen, he hadn't even played an NBA game.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you see something, you just know it.
Bobby Knight saying that is different than a guy being considered the best player in the league before he's played in the playoffs. I agree with Danny.
Like, that was one man's
Anybody that has
opinion.
ever held because even when Bobby Knight said that, it's not like everyone's like, all right, over for you, Magic and Bird. Like, it's Michael Jordan's time. Like, Jordan, I don't think, was considered by the media the best player in the league when he walked into the league. He certainly wasn't considered it by the team's drafting because they didn't even take him number one. Like,
Correct.
So now he certainly was considered the best player before he won a title. Well before he won a title, but he had scored 63 in a playoff game early. He had done things.
Right, which is why my answer is no. But I don't mean that as disrespect. It's just based on precedent, and I'd like to see him in the playoffs one time.
No, look, that's fair. That's totally fair. I feel like he's going to deliver in the playoffs. So I think you can say he's not as good as other players who've been in the playoffs, who aren't in the discussion. By that logic, guys who aren't in the discussion for best player, you could say, oh, they're better because they played in the playoffs.
But is it not at all disrespectful to the reigning champ and MVP, who is the current favorite to win and the current favorite to be MVP in SGA, or the guy who's going to be the first ever to lead in rebounds and assists and average a triple-double?
Sometimes when you see it, you know it.
Can I throw a curveball at you? Because I feel like you are, since I've met you, that you are a pretty consistent guy. Not Mr. Consistency, but you're pretty consistent.
I try to be.
but you have a handful of caveats, let's say. Justin Herbert being the most fun one.
Okay.
Where Justin Herbert has popped in a few playoff games
eye test.
and played poorly, but you are locked in. Doesn't Wemby pass the eye test for you?
Of course. Of course he does.
So that's your only reason.
Because it's not my only reason.
He hasn't played. Okay,
it's not my only reason. You mentioned guys whose their defensive prowess was a huge part of them winning MVP. But those guys also, the years they won MVP, averaged around 30.
Right.
Akeem was the best defensive player in the league and
Duncan
averaged
never
30.
averaged close to 30.
No, but I think his first MVP, I think he averaged 27.
I don't think Duncan was ever that high.
Okay, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That would be the comp because Wemby's at 24. I am totally comfortable saying this Victor Wembanyama at 24 points a game and 29 minutes a game is not the best player in the world yet. I'm totally comfortable with that.
When you watch him, again,
I don't think he impacts the game more than Joker. I don't.
I do because of the. And I think I almost don't even compare him to some of the other legendary defenders. The only one I'd really compare him to is Bill Russell, because his height.
Well, you covered Bill.
Yeah, I was going to say I can't help you there, man.
But I'm saying his height and length.
It warps the court.
It's not even just the block shots. Guys aren't taking shots in the paint.
Guys retreat.
It changes everything.
I 100% agree with that. But the point I'm making is the fact, to Danny's point, that we don't, none of us think he's going to be James Harden in the playoffs, we have no idea what he looks like in the playoffs, even if we're all optimistic about it. And the fact that he plays less than 30 minutes a game. And the fact that despite these big nights we see him pop for, he averages 24, which means he has a disproportionate number of, Wemby had 10. Wemby had 11. Like those
in the teens.
A lot.
Yeah, if you look up,
so
just 16 and 12.
all of that is enough for me to say, I think at the very least Joker's better than him. And I think Luka and SGA certainly we can have a long discussion about.
But every game that I watch him play is obviously.
Yeah, no, he signs an autograph
Once
by
he
drawing a
plays
picture
his
of an alien.
first playoff game, Danny will be like, okay.
Yeah, no. Thanks for hanging out on the OT. Willie Colon out here. Let's talk a little New England Patriots because it's been 24 hours since we talked about A.J. Brown. And he continues to be linked to the Patriots, which is a fun one to connect the dots on. They lose Stephon Diggs. They need a number one wide receiver. So they've been linked to A.J. Brown. There's this picture of him and Kevin Byard working out. Kevin Byard led the league in interceptions for the Bears.
No longer a Bear.
I know.
Sad.
But so there's a talk of the reunion with Mike Vrabel if Kevin Byard went back. And then there was Julian Edelman. Willie, I don't know if you saw this, but he kind of stirred the pot a little bit when he had A.J. We're all catch that wink. You see it right there? He said, we're all Patriots. And he got a little wink with something in his eye. Who knows?
Obviously a troll job.
All right, so NFL.com also put out a piece saying they should trade for Maxx Crosby.
Yep.
So everyone's apparently trying to be a Patriot. Who would you prioritize if you were New England? Who would they be scarier with? A.J. Brown or Maxx Crosby?
I think if you're serious about making another run to the Super Bowl, you have to get Maxx Crosby. You have to make an attempt at that. You're talking about a defense that was ranked 26 in sacks, had 35 on the year. I mean, he had, in the last 4 years, he had 44 sacks in 4 years, right? So you're talking about immediate impact. And, if you're the Pats right now, you talked about Kevin Byard. You're talking about getting another guy, Maxx Crosby, who's a closer. I say that time after time. In the fourth quarter, that's where he shows up. And he's good against the pass and the run. So, and he's a culture guy. He's going to fit Vrabel's locker room just fine. So I think if you're the Pats and you're serious about going back to the Super Bowl, I think he's priority number one.
So they're both awesome players. Caveat out of the way. They would both be huge additions. Caveat number 2 out of the way. I do actually think, though, that number one wide receiver is a bigger pure need for them. Like, they lost Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, but he was
a 1,000-yard receiver.
But he was their number 2, and that's why you got Romeo Doubs. You understand, the Pats were ranked, I think, in the 20th in red zone conversion, right? They weren't good in the red zone. They constantly got stopped. And the fact that if you get an A.J. Brown, fine. Obviously, we know the impact he has. But Romeo Doubs was one of the best receivers in the red zone last year. So to me, they answered that need. If that's why you want to get A.J. Brown.
Yeah, I've got questions about Dobbs as a true number one, but it is a good addition, and he definitely, high points the ball and is very aggressive in the red zone. I agree with you there. And maybe this is hypocritical of me as someone who was skeptical of how the Ravens did business with Crosby, but there is now some question about Maxx Crosby coming off of this knee surgery. And I get it. I understand why a player would side with Maxx Crosby on that and why you would roll your eyes at it. I completely do.
Okay.
But A.J. Brown's questions are like, is he a little bit of a distraction? Is he gonna? But that guy, he plays.
Sure.
He plays. And Crosby he doesn't come off the field when he plays, but he has had a bunch of surgeries, and he is coming off another surgery. And a team did just flunk his physical. And both of these guys are going to.
But we know why we flunked his physical.
We know why we think he flunked his physical.
No, come on, DP.
We know why we think he flunked his physical.
Okay.
Listen, I agree. I am almost 100% in agreement with you. I said it the day it happened.
You did.
I was like, this feels dirty to me. But I know with 100% certainty that A.J. Brown is healthy.
Sure.
I cannot say with 100% certainty that Maxx Crosby is healthy.
Yeah, but that's not something that they discovered. That's the problem. When you talk about Maxx Crosby, he had surgery January 7th. He was in crutches 2 weeks later. All reports that his rehab is going well. He's doing a podcast, for Christ's sakes. He's walking around the building. So there's signs that he's going to be okay.
But you can do a podcast with a bad knee. I'm just saying, I did radio for my whole life with a bad knee. You don't have to be in good shape to talk into a microphone.
My point is, I don't think he's hiding, right? If
he's not hiding.
Yeah, I feel like he's been very public and very out and open about he's right on schedule and he's ready to play next year.
All right, let's go to Tampa here. So they lose Mike Evans to San Francisco after 12 seasons, and their general manager, Jason Licht, he's distraught. He put up a fight, but this is what he said. He said, "I don't feel betrayed. I'm in mourning."
Oh.
He being Mike Evans, earned the right to make this decision. We made a significantly higher offer than the Niners.
They did.
And that was just the first offer. Feel like we did everything we could. This is fascinating to me, Willie, on a number of levels. Because while I am not emotionally distraught like Wilds is that Mike Evans left the Bucs did seem to have something special going with their culture. Remember last year, Chris Godwin, he had that offer from the Patriots, reportedly for way more money, and he re-signed for less money to stay in Tampa. And I was like, what's going on with Tampa? They're like, Mike Evans re-signed on a one-year deal. Godwin came back for a discount.
He wanted to give Baker a shot.
Oh, sure, fine. And taxes are better in Florida, whatever the case may be.
Right.
But I was like, man, they seem to have something. And Mike Evans is the best offensive player in the history of the Bucs. He had been there his whole career. He had opportunities to leave. And when he signed that deal with the Niners, I was like, oh, the Bucs just couldn't afford that deal because they wanted to spend the money on defense.
Correct.
And then Licht came out and was like, no. He took less money to leave?
Yeah.
That did surprise me.
Yeah.
Do you buy this is how it all went down?
I do. I think we also have to kind of dig in the crates a little bit. We've seen Hall of Fame receivers towards the end of their career go back and put on another jersey. I think Mike Evans, if we're being honest, wanted a change in scenery. I do think Jason Licht came to the table and say, hey, man, we want you to retire a Buck, right?
Yeah.
I also think right now, what's crazy about this, if you think about this, well, it had to be a Todd Bowles problem. Not necessarily. I think he got along with Todd Bowles well. I also think he looked at Kyle Shanahan, who's an offensive-minded head coach, and he looked at the receiver glory. He goes, George Kittle's coming off a torn Achilles. We don't know when he's going to be back. Ricky Pearsall, he's not enough. DeMarcus Robinson, he's not enough. I need to be targeted more, because think about this. Go back to, follow me, DP. Go back to the start of last season. This is Mike Evans' targets. He was targeted the first game, 8, 11, and 9. Boom. That's how many times he was targeted, right? A little over 9 targets. He gets hurt against Detroit, collarbone, boom. Comes back against Atlanta, has 12 targets. Good, right? Now, when they needed one game until get into the playoffs, right? This is how many times he was targeted in those 3 games, 9, 7, and 2. Right? So Mike Evans probably at the end of the season said, man, I don't know if Baker maybe hit his ceiling. I know I need to be the number one guy. All right, I need to be targeted more. And if you go to San Fran, he's going to average 9 to 10 targets a game, guaranteed, solely because of the way that roster is constructed and all those guys in a wide receiver room.
Oh, listen, I think San Francisco is better than Tampa. They are in a much tougher division.
By far.
Not
even close.
A much tougher division. But we talked about the Niners the other day. Like, if the Niners are healthy, their roster is top 5, top 7 in the NFL. And so I respect the professional challenge and the professional curiosity of I've been one place my entire career and I can go join this outfit and try to see if the grass is always greener. I thought Mike Evans was going to be a Buck for life, and he's going and chasing a ring, which is fine. It's totally his prerogative. But you don't often hear general managers talk about a player leaving in free agency. He's like, I'm in mourning.
Because he was a cornerstone. He was a pillar within the organization who you felt like, all right, you got a ring. I understand you're chasing stats, but this is your home. You've been here 11 seasons. You've had 1,000 yards in each of those 11 seasons. What else do we need to give you? More money? I'm offering you more money. And you still say no? Like it's
it's different, and it's got to be a blow because now. But Ibuka's a nice consolation prize. Like the Bucs offense should still be. I mean, Bucky Irving, Godwin, Ibuka, they should still be a very good offense.
Got to trade K Dot
down there.
Get K Dot. Did they get him back yet?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did. Fact check that. Sean Payton, he gets to reunite with Alvin Kamara. And coaching a guy by the name of Tom Brady playing flag football. Not a bad gig.
Not a bad gig.
We'll talk to Sean Payton on the other side on the OT. Back here on the OT talking a little flag football.
Okay.
But not just any flag football. The Fanatics Classic takes place tomorrow, 4 Eastern on Fox. These rosters are stacked with talent. You might have heard of some of these names, Willie. Brady, Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, just to name a few. But joining us now, the head coach of the Founders FFC team, Sean Payton, with us. Coach, you've coached some pretty stacked rosters. Brady was in charge of the draft. You've coached great quarterbacks, and thank you very much for joining us here on First Things First. Little nervous at all? You get to coach Tom Brady? It's pretty cool.
Here's the thing, and as a coach coming into something like this, having, the old Pro Bowl that was in Hawaii, if you lost the championship round, your staff had the Pro Bowl. And so in 2006, my first year as a head coach, we had lost to the Bears in Chicago. And when you coach your first Pro Bowl, you're kind of acquiescing to your team, like, hey, what do you guys want from this? And so I think the schedule was like a 35-minute practice. And the veterans start looking at their watches, and look, their families were there, and you get it, I got it. And so I would say the difference in this is, obviously the game is entirely different. But it still comes down to, like, what do you guys want to get from this? Now, the difference is there's going to be 2 teams that are made up of NFL players. And then they invited our international team who's competed and played for 3 years. And this would be like inviting Alabama or Georgia to the Pro Bowl. Like, these guys are tired of hearing about how all these NFL players are going to take their spots in the Olympics in 28. And when it came time, like weeks before the game, and you have to start looking at the film, I had looked at about 12 or 14 of these international games and realized quickly, like, man, we're going to be in trouble if we're not on point. Like, these guys have done it a long time. So back to your question, the great thing about Tom and his involvement, like, he's not going to do anything half speed. And so he kind of, in that first practice, Jalen Hurts, these guys that we have, Winfield from Tampa Bay, he's been a thorn in our butt for years in New Orleans. All these guys, and if kind of said, hey, we're going to do this thing the right way. So we had a practice yesterday, meetings, film yesterday, practice today, and it's a race to catch up to the international team, and then obviously, the other NFL teams. So it's been a busy week.
Coach, let's get right to it. How unstoppable will the Brady and Gronk connection be? Let's get to the sauce.
All right. So the first thing I said watching film yesterday in the team meeting is I said, Gronk, I don't see many players on this field built like you.
Yeah, exactly. How are they going to stop Gronk, Coach?
So everybody on this field is like corner, safety, receiver stature. And so I think the advantage for Rob is going to be when he fronts the defense, if you will, in the red zone, or, there's one first down, which is at midfield. And so there'll be a couple fourth down, probably plays where you need a big target. And then, Von Miller's rushing the passer, and this is a different deal. This isn't like get low, beat the tackle the quarterback. Like, these quarterbacks can move, and you've got to get to the flag. So today we had a whole pulling flag drill circuit just because if you've not done that, that can be challenging. But I think Gronk still has a chance to be a difference maker for us in this game, particularly just like he was in the NFL in the red zone on third downs.
So I know we want to give the U.S. national team credit, but it's like, I don't know, Brady, Gronk, Genty, Kamara. Like, it feels like they shouldn't be able to win, Coach. I don't know. It feels like you should guarantee victory. Come on.
Listen, I got it. And I saw Italy in the semifinals of that baseball tournament. All right.
Yeah.
And so I put this film on 2 weeks ago, and the center's snapping. He's eligible. It's 5-on-5. These guys, this guy from New Orleans is the quarterback. And now if you just snap it to the QB, he can't scramble and run. He's a thrower. But there are all these design plays where you snap it to someone and then it's a quick lateral to the QB. I hear what you're saying. On paper, you're right. But there's a reason this team's favored in just about every sports book, and I don't pay attention to any of that. But I do think the first thing we did in our meeting, I said, before I can explain it to you, you have to watch film. I mean, that's the only way you can learn this is to watch the video of it. So we started doing that. We started seeing the multiple quarterback looks, because there is one person who's rushing 7 yards deep, his hands up, and as soon as the ball snapped, he sprints to the QB. But if that QB catches it and then laterals someone else, so we've got packages. We've got an Eagle package in with Hurts and Brady. We've got a volunteer package where it's Kamara who played quarterback, Hurts and Brady. When you can change up who possibly is the QB on a play with multiple threats, you can buy yourself some time versus that pass rush. And there are just enough nuances that I think make this challenging.
So the game's tomorrow, 4 o'clock Eastern on Fox. You guys made big news for us trying to talk NFL year-round when you made that trade in Denver for Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's a great player, but what element do you feel like he brings to your team that you didn't have to take that offense to the next level?
I think a couple things. Look, man, I love the current makeup and the direction of where our locker room and where our team is going. Each year, we're bringing in like-minded players that are tough. I spent a lot of time answering questions about culture and discussing it, and it really gets down to the people. And I think the first thing, besides the physical skill set, and so you see his speed and his explosiveness. But I think one thing that some fast players can't do, some can. But if you're fast and you can stop fast, that's a really, really strong skill set. Now, a lot of guys are fast, but they may not transition that well. And Jalen's someone who's very comfortable on those in-breaking routes, very comfortable on the slot options. He can go down the field, but he can sink his hips and run some routes that are like, wow. And so, and you partner that with his high competes. Man, he's been coached by some really good coaches, obviously in college with Nick. As you research, when you make a trade like this and you hear the term, you got to do your homework, man. There's a dozen people you talk to relative to the makeup, the work ethic, all those things. And the people that I know and trust very well had the same exact, like when I say the same message to a man, all those things. And look, credit Miami, George on our part. It took a while. And it finally got done. And look, we're excited to have him.
Well, Coach, good luck in the Fanatics Fest flag football game tomorrow, 4 o'clock on Fox. Apparently, it's a preview for Tom Brady being the quarterback of the 2028 Olympics. So, no pressure.
I heard that. He was asked that question earlier, and I think he acquiesced more to, like, maybe I'm going to be involved in some type of a coaching role. I think the one thing, guys, that's really kind of cool to see is these international players that are here, that are all doing a great job helping us. But the whole foundation for our women's, for our young women that want to play football, there's an avenue now.
Well, Coach, we'll be watching. Thank you for the time.
Thanks, Coach.
And hope to have you back on First Things First in the future. Good luck tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Nah, he has some tough shots out there. Like, it is what it is. I know what it's like to be in that mode. As people can see, it's not easy to get 80.
Okay, I got to be honest. As someone who was a little critical of how Bam got to 80, had no problem with how he got to 60, not even really how he got to 70. But between 70 and 80, I got to admit, I was a little critical. If he's just going to full-on troll, see, Luka's 60.
Yeah.
That's no 80.
I know.
And he's going to kind of like wink and nod and do it with a smile. I could probably be converted pretty quick.
Yeah,
that was funny.
It's weird how we treat 60 like it's a simple layup in a game. Like it's Luka dropping 60. And by the way, it wasn't padded, right? Like, it was no ushering here.
They needed basically all of them.
Right, and he showed up. So, I listen, I don't know what to say about it anymore. Like, it's funny because when I saw the 60, my initial reaction was like, okay. When normally I'm like, oh my God, 60 points.
Like Bam has skewed it. Has skewed 60. Listen, here's one that'll help you. SGA's never had 60, so it's still hard to do. It's still a very hard thing to do. But I got to give Bam credit. Like, he's already in joking about it in like self-awareness mode. That's good. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the tournament. We're back on Monday.